Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Sports Card Investigator. So glad you guys are with us. Look, I know you guys want answers. I don't have all the answers, but what I do have is a particular set of skills I've developed over a very long career, skills that I believe will be beneficial to you. So if you hit the subscribe and like button, I will let it go. I will not pursue you. However, if you do not, there's nothing I can do. Said in the last episode, I got no juice. I'm a retired guy. So, as you guys know, I talk about being a DEA agent for 25 years and a supervisor for 15 of those years. And over that time, I've always, invested in sports cards and kept up with the hobby. But because of that, my background, or because I was working as an agent, obviously I couldn't come on social media and discuss a lot of that with you guys. But now that I'm retired, I have that opportunity and I am so super excited about it. And the different strategies and philosophies that I've developed over the years, some of them you might like, some of them you may think could use some tweaking or agree with, but I just think it's more information that I can put out there, the better for you guys to decide. So today, as I said, I'm really excited about this episode because we're going to actually have a direct correlation between one of the things that I did as an agent, and we're going to see how that applies to the sports card investing world. And at first you might say, Andy, that's crazy. This has nothing to do with sports card investing. But if you just give it a listen to my mindset, listen to my philosophy, listen to where I'm going with this, you guys may have a, very different answer at the end of this episode. It's going to be a little bit of a longer episode. It's going to be some fun involved, but let's just see how it goes. So what I want to talk to you about is the lifeblood of any DEA agent, and that is the use of informants. Well, why would informants be the lifeblood of any DEA agent? Well, quite simply, they're the people that come and give information regarding people that we're looking for. They are invaluable. So if an informant called or knocked on our door and came in and wanted to give information, my job was to listen to that information, take in everything that person said, verify it, and from there decide whether I was going to move on with an investigation or move forward or move on, right? And so, some informants that I've worked with, I started off when I was a very young agent. They started off with me, and they've actually stayed with me throughout my whole career. And the one thing over time that was important to me with working with an informant was you have to have some trust with them, but you also have to verify. Because blindly trusting an informant could lead you down a really bad path and could lead you into a lot of trouble. So when an informant would come in and tell you information, what would you do? How would you verify that information? So for me as a law enforcement professional, I had a lot of things at my disposal. So I would do surveillance on information that they gave me. If they said that someone is doing something at a certain location, I would get a team of agents. We would do surveillance. I would run background checks. I would talk to other law enforcement officers. I would share information, see if that informant ever talked to them, see if they're reliable, right? And the key of this was to use this information to stay one step ahead of the people you're pursuing, okay? So younger agents, when they were get information from an informant, a lot of times they would just take whatever this informant said on face value. And more often than not, their cases did not end up with a great outcome because they were new, they lacked experience to ask the important questions. So why am I telling you this? Or how does this relate to sports card investing? That's a great question. Because whether you guys realize it or not, sports card investing is surrounded by informants. Now, who are these guys? Who are these informants I'm talking about? Well, you see them every day. Turn them on YouTube. Go on Twitter. Top 5 picks. Top guys to pick under 25 bucks. Guys you gotta pick up before the NBA playoffs. These picks. These guys are all trying to give us information, right? But the important thing that we have to look at is, how do we know which of these guys is worth investing in and which guys aren't? Now you hear a lot of guys, right, on these YouTube channels that will give you their top picks, and then they'll say to you, but remember, don't take any of my picks without doing your homework. Well, what's the homework, right? I mean, to a lot of guys out there, the homework is getting the picks. I'm doing my homework because I'm listening to guys that have a great reputation and a lot of followers, and they said they did their research, so that's my homework. I'm going to those guys. And guess what? A lot of these guys are terrific. I watch and listen to all of them, or as many as I possibly can. And a lot of the information that I get from them, because they are a wealth of information. But some of these guys are just more reliable than others. And over time, you'll recognize that. So it's just like when I would vet an informant. What does vet mean? Well, vet means to do my homework on that informant and make sure that they're telling me the truth. And the only way I can make sure they're telling me the truth is to take their information and then work backwards and try to figure out why they're picking this guy, what information is out there, and then go from there. So how do we do that? Well, that's where the fun begins. So in this episode, you're going to see exactly what a process would be to vet and to confirm information as if an informant for a top pick came into the drug enforcement office and said, I got a pick. So without further ado, let's have some fun, let's learn, and let's get started. Hey guys, give me a minute. I got another guy coming in. He says he's got a hot pick for the playoffs. I'm gonna hear what he's got to say. I'll fill you guys in later. You got it. In the morning we'll have a meeting. We'll see what's going on. Perfect. Have a good night. Hey man, so I understand you got something for me? Me? Is there anyone else here? Just you and me, right? Who you got? Bagley. Marvin Bagley? Sacramento Kings Marvin Bagley? Okay. I'll bite. Why Mr. Bagley? Why not, dude? He's a good pick. I mean, can you build it up with some facts or give me some statistics, give me some research? What? Come on, dude, you heard me. If I'm going to invest my hard-earned money, give me something tangible. Give me something I can sink my teeth into. Oh yeah, I got you. Alright, why Bagley? Come on, give me something. Why not Bagley, man? I'm high on him. Because you're high on him. Great. I'm high on a lot of guys too. You're not high now, are you? Just kidding, man. Just kidding. Alright, so you're high on him. What else? Oh yeah, and his cards are like really shiny and stuff. Oh yeah, man, there's one really important thing. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. What's that? I have 100,000 people on my YouTube channel, dude. They all can't be wrong. So having 100,000 subscribers and 1 million views on your YouTube channel, your Twitter, your social media, very popular. I get it, congratulations, but that makes it credible. For sure. Anything else? Yep. I'm all ears, lay it on me. Dude's swaggy. He's a swag master general. He's, as we say, swagalicious. Swagalicious. Anything else before we end this? Yeah, man. I forgot to mention, he's dirt cheap, and I invested in him. I invested a lot in him. Oh, and he's dirt cheap. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll look into it a little bit. If he pans out, I'll get back in touch with you. I'll get some more of your picks. So I'll let you know, okay? My man, you won't be sorry. Oh, dude, I'm already sorry. Alright, people. I need a full court press on a Mr. Marvin Bagley from the Sacramento Kings. Is he worth investing in now, later, or never? That is your job. First, numbers guy. Get me a price breakdown. Include 2 other players taken after him in the same draft that we like, so I compare. Just cursory. Don't go crazy. Let's see what he was on April 1st and now. Alright? Don't complicate it either. Just do his rookie prism base card. That'll give me a good barometer. Get a hold of the doc. Alright? Tell him I need his opinion on this guy's injuries. Also, research and analysis. What's this guy done this year? Weaknesses and strengths. Get a hold of public relations. What is the coach saying? See if we can get any insight. Come on, read his mind. What they have planned for this guy. Are they building around him, with him, or going to move on without him? Alright? See if anything sticks out on his contract that I need to be aware of. Also, for shits and grins, check my DFS guy. Just run the name by him. Check his prices when he was there. See if he was doing well when he was starting, coming off the bench. Anything, the insight that that this guy can give us. It's probably not going to be much, but I always like to turn every stone, right? All right, that's what I need. Get it to me by tomorrow, guys. Thank you. Hey guys, anyone see Johnny? That kid is shot out of a cannon. I never know where that kid's bouncing around this place. Johnny, come here. You got a second? So what do you got on Bagley for me? What's your research say? Hey boss, I got the information right here. I did a report. I have the report right here. I'm going to just tell you, I don't want to miss anything, so I'm going to look at this report, okay? I think it's really good. I think it's a good report. I think you're going to be happy with it. Okay, so the research about Bagley. So we all know he was a 2nd overall pick from Duke, right? Duke's a good team. The Blue Devils, I like them. Coach Krzyzewski, he's all right. Anyway, he plays a position of power forward, but he's not that great of a shooter, right? At least not away from the basket. 18% from 3 this year. 31% last year, and free throws reliability 70%. You know, and I'm sure you're going to speak to the doc about this, but he's been injured a lot. Three times. Hold on one second. Talk to the doc. He's been injured 3 times. Been injured 3 times this year, and I said he plays power forward, but the Kings are going to try to move him to center, and they've already tried. Also, something to watch for: how he's going to gel with Richard Holmes. It's right. It's in my notes. Richard Holmes. When Bagley did come back to the starting lineup after he missed because of injury, he didn't go back into the starting lineup, boss. No, he did not. He stayed out of the starting lineup. In fact, he did not even spend much time at power forward, and he was drafted as power forward. Did I tell you he played power forward at Duke? Right. So Luke Walton split time. Luke Walton's the coach. It's in my notes. Luke Walton split time between Bagley and Holmes at the center position. They hardly even played in the same lineup together. And he's only played 13 games this year. 13 games does not make a season, although it was a shortened season because we're going through this stuff, but it's going to come back. But sure, 13 games is not a long time to see if he can even gel, right? And from what I read, Walton has no option but try to play them together. But it's not gonna be this year. It's probably gonna be next year. So I don't even know what to tell you about that. You know, Bagley's still a good young player. I think that the Kings are still high on him, but he's got injury setbacks, and that's always going to be concerning.
Great points.
Personal opinion?
Look, boss, I just don't know if it's going to be enough in the long run. When he was starting, he was the third option off of Fox and Buddy Hield. They're both really good shooters, by the way. Now, I don't even know if he's going to start when the season returns. I don't even know if he's going to play when the season returns. So, no matter how dirt cheap the guy is, and I do understand he's dirt cheap, he might just be a big off the bench. So I can't even estimate his playing time. I don't see him as a playoff buy. I just don't see it at this time. I wish I had better news. I just don't at this time.
Very good. Oh, one more thing.
Sure, boss. What's that?
Does his level of swagginess come into play when you're doing your research?
Swagginess. You know, I look at everything when I'm evaluating a player. That's my job. That's what you pay me for. If you didn't tell me to do that, then I wouldn't do it. But because you pay me to evaluate on every level, I do. Swagginess, however, not that much. Although it's important, but not that much.
That's what I thought. Oh, you see Scoops around? He was supposed to give me some information regarding any media leaks or media information, maybe some contract stuff.
As a matter of fact, Scoops was here. He had to go. He had an emergency. Someone had to let his dog out because the dog had to go to the bathroom, but he had to leave, so he gave me the information. I got it right here. Here it is. Okay, so yeah, you asked for some media leaks or some stuff like that. So he told me that Coach Walton was non-committal on his playing status for the restart of the season. And this was confirmed in The Athletic, a verified source of information. Very important, verified sources. So Bagley is not even expected to start at power forward after missing an extended time with the foot injury, which we talked about, and I'm sure you talked to the doc about also.
Contract stuff?
Got it right here. Bagley is in the second year of his rookie scale contract. He's eligible for an extension in the summer of 2021 and is under team control for another 2 seasons.
So next year is probably going to be make or break for him for the team.
I believe that would be the case, boss. Yes, I believe that is a good assumption on the make and break thing. Yes, I do.
That was a statement, not really a question, but yeah.
All right, boss. You need anything for? I gotta run. Do you need anything else from me before I do some more stuff?
No, man. I'm messing with you. Great job as always. Thanks. Hey, man. Were you able to get me the information on Mr. Bagley? Affirmative, sir. Very nice. Before we get started, is it data or data? Oh, it's data, sir. My good mother named me after my grandfather from the Duke of Data. It is data, sir. Data. Great. Perfect. So, what's the data? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Research indicates that Mr. Bagley was at the cost of $8 on April 1st, 2020. And today he remains $8. Were you able to find me the comparisons? Well, of course, sir, this isn't rocket science. It's not. Well, the first young gent was Mr. Jaron Jackson. He was $5.50 back on April 1st. Today, he has risen to the grand old price of $18.50, a whopping 276 return on any investment you would have made. And this second young chap, Mr. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he was $6.50, and now he's approaching $34, a whopping 476% return on investment. Man, I knew that was going to be pretty good. I didn't realize it was going to be that good. Oh yes, it was quite impressive, I would say so. Anything out of the ordinary that we should note about Mr. Bagley's cards? Yes, sir, there was an anomaly I discovered while looking into Mr. Bagley. And? On or about June 19th, several YouTube sports card investing influencers extolled the virtues of Mr. Bagley. So there was a spike. Oh, a spike there was, sir. Indeedly do. His PSA 10 base prism card went from a mere $45 to $73. Oh my goodness. And you attribute this to the information released on YouTube? Although it's impossible to be 100%, I believe the preponderance of evidence does bring us to that logical conclusion. One more thing, your statistical analysis reveal anything about level of swag? Sir, is that a serious question? There is no algorithmic sequence that I know of that can measure one's swag. Never mind, I appreciate the information. Hey, I gotta know, you're so serious. Is there anything you do for fun? Since you ask, sir, I do dabble in stand-up comedy. Really? I failed to see the reasoning I would have to make such a thing up, sir. Alright, give me your best joke. Very well. Be prepared to laugh. The level of jocularity I'm about to expound, I do not believe you have ever witnessed. It may be a good idea for you to have a seat. Alright, I'm prepared. Very well, sir. Do you know why it's important to take a data scientist into the jungle with you? In case you run into any Python problems. Thanks so much for your data, very much appreciated. Wait, sir, there's more. How did the random variable get into the club? He showed him his fake IID. No, really, man, thanks. I really appreciate it. Take care. Get back to work. Hey, Doc, you got a sec?
Sure, what can I do for you?
What? Why are you wearing a mask?
There is a pandemic going on out there.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Hey, while you're here, anything on Bagley, the guy I brought up to you yesterday?
You know, Bagley, he's not a straightforward case.
Huh.
Remember back in February, he was seen wearing a boot on his foot?
I do vaguely remember that.
Well, out of the King's medical camp,
Right.
the reports are that he re-aggravated soreness in his foot.
Would that indicate a boot?
Well, typically when someone has a boot, they have something that's a little more serious, such as a fractured bone, could be a tendon issue, or a really bad sprain, or as far as shin splints if they're severe enough.
So let me ask you this, and I won't hold you to it. Is this any kind of an indicator of future problems with this type of injury?
It's difficult to really speculate that.
Sure, without actually seeing the records and stuff like that.
Correct.
I got you. Hey, I know you're busy. Hey, oh, one more question.
Sure.
Any of your records indicate a level of swagginess?
Last time I checked, swagginess does not have an ICD-10 code and is not a medical condition, so I'll leave that up to you and the experts.
Thanks, Doc.
You're welcome.
Oh, man, I think I missed a call here. This might be what we were waiting for Vinny from DFS. Let's see if he can shed any information on Mr. Bagley.
Yo, Andy, Vinny, from the DFS guy. You asked about this guy Bagley? Bottom line, the kid can't stay healthy. He missed 20 games. He's hurt a lot. Kid is more banged up than a tomato I found rolling around in my trunk the other day. Ha! I digress. Speaking of ripe tomatoes, you speak to the doc about this kid? Maybe she can give you some, what they say, medical perspective. Look, this kid was supposed to be part of a three-headed monster with his teammates, De'Aaron Fox and that other kid, what's his name, Buddy Hield? But it never materialized. Look, when the kid played, he wasn't bad offensively, at least when he was right near the basket. Away from the basket or free throws, let's just say he went to the Ben Simmons School of Offense. Oh! His defense, that's another story. Actually, it's not. Defensively, the kid was practicing social distancing before it was even mandated. Oh! Honestly, the biggest issue with this kid is he doesn't have a position. When he was out, Rashawn Holmes was able to fill in, and he was quite good when he did. In fact, I made some ducats on this
X6er.
kid. Rashawn Holmes, he just too is underpriced in DFS, but well, I digress. Look, the coach wouldn't even comment on this kid's availability, and that's what you were asking me for. What's his availability going into the playoffs? He said he wouldn't even comment, so I don't even know, man. I think it's safe to assume you're not going to see him in the playoffs, and if you do, it's going to be in a really, really limited role. This is for this card, the cute hobby you guys got, right? You collect those pictures of the kids on the cards and you sell them for $100. $200, $300. I don't even understand that. One day you'll have to explain that to me. That makes no sense. But anyway, I hope what I gave you is you can use it in any way. But bottom line is, I don't know what I would do with this kid, especially not this year. Out.
Vinny's a great guy. All right. Okay, guys. What's the verdict? Are we buying Mr. Bagley? Yes? No? Well, you guys know. And after looking at what we just did, you guys can decide, right? Because I'm never going to tell you what to do. I put out the evidence and you guys can decide. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed doing it too. It was a little bit reminiscent for me of when I was role-playing at the FBI Academy, and actually when I did some my undercover days back with DEA. So that was a lot of fun, getting the different characters in different roles. And I know it was over the top, but if you guys got anything out of it, then it was worth the time and effort, and I really enjoyed doing it for you guys. So, okay, so let's run through the process real quick as I wrap up. Okay, so what's the first thing we do when we get this card pick? All right, well, the first thing we should do is check out the current price of the card. And how do we do that? Well, there's several things on the internet you can go do. eBay, ComC. There's a lot of different platforms out there. There are more coming out every day. I'm looking at some. When I do, I'll be happy to give you my take on it. But as of now, just go out there, find out whatever you can to get that price of the card. It's not really that difficult. So what do we do? We're going to compare the current price of the card with what it was over a designated period of time. So what's the price of the card today? What was it yesterday? What was it a month before? And even go back 2 months, 3 months. Is the guy more than, been in a legal while? Keep going back as far as you want, and just look at those prices and you get a good overview of his prices. And then what you also should do is compare several different card types. So what do I mean by that? Well, in the episode we did Prism, just to make it easy. But you could do Prism, Optic, Select, Mosaic, Spectra, Hoops, you name it. Any card type that you're interested in, just do that same process of comparing prices. And then we have to decide, after we just take that cursory look, is it too late? Did we miss the window of opportunity? Has the ship sailed? Is there water in the pool? Any cliche you want. Ask yourself that before moving on. And then if we do find out that, okay, maybe there is some prospect, or there is some, something about this card that we want to continue to look at, is there room to grow, right? So we want to make sure that, looking at that, is the guy going to be a perennial all-star? Is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? Is he a young star who's got a large, he hasn't hit where he's going yet? So take a look at that. And then another important factor is how close is the player to his bottom. And what I mean by that is, if you're looking at prices of a card and he started off really high and now he's down to where he was at his lowest point, that may be a good indication to buy if he's not at a lowest point for another reason. And then you have to look into that also. But just look at the trend line, look at the chart. Is he up, down, in the middle? So take a look at that. Look for any anomalies in the pricing or any unexplained spikes or dips. And if there are any unexplained spikes or dips that you've identified, what are they, and are they real or manufactured? And we're going to talk about this in another episode, but I think you guys know where I'm going. Why are there spikes? Why are there dips? And why are they so just crazy, right? Are there any injuries or change in his playing status? Injuries speak for themselves. Change in playing status, the coach is basically like, I'm going to start this guy, he's been on the bench and he's going to get some good run. That's an indicator that the card could move. And we're going to conduct our intelligence report. And that's kind of what we did in the video, right? Now, you guys, we all don't have a group of agents that are going to go out and do all the research for us. That's what we do. So how do we do that? Well, there's a lot of things at our disposal, and it really is important that we look at everything that we can. And if we don't, then shame on us for not looking at information. And actually, in the next episode, I'm going to give you guys an example of information that was out there on a specific player that moved quick, and we just did not see it. Okay, so
Newspaper articles, obviously. Injury reports if applicable. Basketball websites, basketball reference guys. See how this guy compares to other players. Team releases. Has a team released anything on this guy? You know, I suspect a couple weeks prior to the start of the NBA season, if it starts at all, which is another story, you may get a release from, you know, Luke Walton. And he might say, hey, Bagley is going to be shelved for the rest of the year, or he's going to come off the bench. You know, things like that could indicate, you know, definitely are applicable to the ups and downs of card prices. Medical reports we talked about. DFS websites. Now, that was a fun part of the video where Vinny from DFS called. But guess what? DFS has just a tremendous amount of resource. Roto Grinders, Roto World, wherever you want to look at, there's tons of them out there. They have great scouting and great insight. Because why? Well, they're pricing their players at their level of how they're going to be doing on the court. So if you see a guy that's steadily rising up, I was looking at one of these this year with, I think it was Kobe White, don't hold me to it, but he was like, when he started, he was like, you know, 4,500, 46, 49, 55, 65, and you follow that trend line, you could see his card prices moving with that trend line, which was pretty cool. So DFS websites. Medical reports we talked about. Team message boards. Every team has a message board, right? Either they're official or unofficial. You'd be surprised at the amount of information that you can get in those, you know, team message boards prior to it happening. Sometimes beat writers go in there. Sometimes you'll even, on the off chance, see a player go in there, which is quite odd, but I've seen it happen. And guys with great insight. Discord channels. Definitely join all the Discord channels you can. And they're just chat rooms, message rooms, and there's a wealth of information on those. YouTube content providers. All right. Okay. Hard stop, right? YouTube content providers. Look, there are great references out there and not so great references. There are guys that know their stuff and guys that are just out there because, you know, they want to put out content. You know, I get it. It's a new hobby. It's an exploding hobby. Not a new hobby. Exploding hobby. There's a lot of people out there. Look, I'm new to this part of it. Now, would I have loved to have done it 2-3 years ago or you know 5 years ago? Sure. But because of my old life, the government kind of frowned on a special agent getting into the social media world, which you could understand. But just be really careful about people that you're watching on YouTube. Speaking of which, I watched a video the other day and it was everything I needed to know about sports card investing. So I took the 10 minutes, because the video was 10 minutes, I took the 10 minutes and now I'm all set. So I'm good to go. So that was me being sarcastic. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an extremely sarcastic individual, aka sometimes I'm an asshole. But, you know, there are things out there that are great info, but take them for what they're worth. Right? Be incredibly careful. There's a difference between subjective and objective data. Now, objective data is what we're searching for. It's an observation of measurable facts. That's what we want, measurable facts. Stuff that we can sink our teeth into, look at them, and they have a proven track record of facts, factual information, as opposed to subjective. Subjective are personal opinions, assumptions, interpretations, and beliefs. Most often is what we get from the YouTube guys. Hey man, go get Bagley. He's swaggy. He is great. I like him. He's a great player. He's got a lot of potential. He's got shiny card. No. What we went through is what you should be going through, right? And make an informed decision, not by someone's opinion. And if you do, okay. Some people's homework is going online and going into one of the guys and he's like, here's my top pick. Oh, did my homework, let me go buy him. And then also, you know, just ask yourself one important question when you're listening to these guys. Why are they giving me this information? If you answer that question either one way or the other, you won't have an issue. So, in a nutshell, that's what we go through when we're picking a card that we're going to invest in. This was kind of different because this was specific before the NBA playoffs. Now, if we're looking at Bagley before the season or whatever, that's maybe a little bit different. Quite frankly, I don't think it is. But, you know, that's a different situation. This was just before the NBA restart. So, with that said, I want to give a shout out, is that what you guys say these days? Shout outs? To 3 individuals. One is Jordan at Sports Card Analytics. He has his own YouTube channel. He's terrific. I got his information when I was doing some of the data, the deep dives. And also Chris, and he is now Sports Card PT. He got the medical stuff from Chris. He is excellent when it comes to diagnosing or looking into the future of players who have injuries. He can give you different comparisons, really a wealth of information. And then finally, Brett at Stacking Slabs. He is awesome is a word I use a lot, but it's true here. Terrific, awesome content. Go listen to his podcast. He's on Twitter. He's on Instagram. He will tell you about something and then back it up. I listened to one of his episodes on Sekou, and I was kind of looking at this guy too, and trying to do my research on him, and he did a whole podcast on Sekou, and he dropped his information into different buckets, explained, process was clear as day. Great guy, highly recommend at Stacking Slabs. So, with that, I can't wait for our next episode. Do me a favor, if you like it, hit the like button, ding the bell, whatever you guys do, whatever. Hit the bell, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I will come back with more information, and I can't wait to do so. So until then, happy collecting.